Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Let's get that propped up. There we go. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Y'all, why did it just let me sit up and say happy Saturday? Happy Sunday, happy Sunday, happy Sunday. It is Coach Lee, your productivity and accountability coach, here for another Sunday of, you've guessed it, the Success Starter Series at Don't Come and Be About the Time. I know I'm a little bit late, but we here. We here. I was hanging with my friends, so we here. Delayed, but not denied. All right. And that goes perfectly with our conversation and with our topic because we want to talk about grinding less, flow more. We want to talk about productivity that feels good. And so I'm Coach Lee, your productivity and accountability coach, here to help you, get more stuff done, find your flow, find your rhythm, find your systems, helping you to find that hidden time in your day, time that you can use to pour back into yourselves as you pursue these goals, these purposes, these life passions, while still maintaining your current responsibilities and without the stress and overwhelm. You got it. And so today we want to talk about productivity that feels good because we got a lot to do. There's a lot to do. There's a lot we want to do. There's a lot we need to do. And sometimes it don't necessarily feel good. But what if it could? What if getting things done could feel good? What if we can have this flow and these systems and this life that just lets productivity move in such a way that productivity needs to move? And so grind less. Let's start there. Let's sit with that for a minute. We have a lot that we want to do. We have a lot that we need to do. And oftentimes that can put us on this hamster wheel of go, 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 go. Do, 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 do. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Grind till it's done. Like all of that. No. There can be seasons where working hard is necessary. But I don't view working hard as grinding. But for argument's sake, let's say that it is a grind. We want to grind less. We want to be able to not have to live a life to where we're grinding more than we're flowing. To where we're always in grind mode. We're always in this hustle and grind mode. Grinding should be the exception and not the rule. The same way we talk about creating boundaries and where breaking your boundaries is the exception rather than the rule. I talk about I don't work late, I don't bring work home. Working late or bringing work home should be an exception and not the rule. For so many of you, you've let grinding be the norm. You've let grinding be the default. We don't want that. We don't need that. We should not do that. So what would it look like for you in your life to grind less? It's Sunday. It's time to think about planning our week, setting our week up for success. So when you think about what does success look like for you this week, how can you have success without grinding more? Work hard, all for it. But this constant grind mode of I'll sleep when I'm dead, working yourself to the hospital bed, causing your body to literally shut down because you won't sit down? No. And hey, for some, do you. If that's what you want, you're not my people. I'm not here for the people who want to grind themselves to their deathbed. I went to support my friend at her live podcast show yesterday, and on one of the panels, one of the girls, somebody had asked in the audience about like time management or whatever like that. We ended up connecting after it. I sent her an email because we're gonna get it together. But she was talking about like how can you kind of get your time management, because she was talking about how she only sleeps a couple hours a day, and the girl that was on the panel who responded talked about how basically, she ended up at the doctor, and the doctor was like, girl, you can't keep going on like this. And she's like, I'm not, just for another year and a half. Ma'am, absolutely not. That is not okay. No. Okay, you going like this just to the end of this project, which is in a day or a week? But a whole another year and a half of school? Law school is 3 years long. No, absolutely not. Whew. Bless your heart if that's what y'all want. But we're here to talk about grinding less. Less of that. So what would it look like for you to grind less? Not necessarily work less hard, work less hard, work hard less. What would it look like for you to grind less? That doesn't mean you have to stop working hard, but let's stop grinding. Hard work is often just the work that we don't want to do. In reality. Because when something doesn't feel like work, you don't say, I'm having to work hard. You just working. When you love what you do, you don't necessarily look at it as hard work. There are parts of your job, your career, your business that are hard because you don't really like them parts. But the parts that you like, you don't necessarily look at those as hard work. So if we want to grind less and instead we want to be more in flow, how can we shift? Like, how can we balance those two? Flow comes from, number one, doing the things in a way that's going to be the most conducive to you. The reason you often find yourself grinding more is because you procrastinated, you've put it off. I mean, those are really the two main reasons. You procrastinated and you've put it off. Because there are many ways in which you could have procrastinated or put it off, but really it comes down to those two things. So if we want to get out of this grind mode and instead be more in flow, how can we stop procrastinating and putting things off? We're not anti-hard work. And so hard work is going to involve the things that you don't necessarily want to do. There are times of the day that you want to do some things more than you want to do them at other times. So we want to create more flow. We want to put those things that we don't really want to do in those times of the day that we feel more inclined to do them than those times we feel less inclined to do them. You often end up in grind mode because you procrastinate and put something off into the last possible moment, and now you have no choice but to do it and to get it done. If you have 48 hours to get something done, it's going to take you 48 hours to get something done. But if you have an hour to get something done, you're more likely to get that thing done in that hour. So how can we go about grinding less and flowing more? How can we go about creating systems, routines, habits in our life that allows us to be in this space that is conducive to us showing up in this way? I want y'all to understand that hustle, grind is not meant to be your daily portion at all. Flow. Flow. That's what it is. And so if we want productivity, if we want the ability to get things done that feels good, that strikes us at our core, that hits us in the heart, that makes us smile and say, I did that, I do that, I'm gonna do that, what does that look like? So when I talk about there are times in the day that you just don't want to get stuff done, those aren't your peak hours to work. That's when you often have the least energy, or you feel sluggish and drained. So if you can start identifying those energy leaks, those places where, or those times in the day where, no. The same way I say if you have 48 hours to get something done, it's going to take you 48 hours. You know how sometimes I'm a morning person. But there are sometimes when I wake up in the morning that I'm just like, I'm up. But my morning routine normally takes me 45 minutes to an hour to get through in terms of my reading, my journaling, and all of that. It'll take me a good hour and a half. And it's not the act of doing the task. It's all the social media scrolling that I'm doing, the podcast distractions that I'm having. It's all these other things that are distracting me. My morning routine, it still takes the same amount of time. It's all the other things that I'm doing that is causing a distraction that causes that. And now sometimes that comes about because I'm making myself wake up when I feel like I want a little bit more sleep. And so as a result, I'm like, okay, I have to get up. I don't have time to go back to sleep. But when you think about how much time you just wasted slugging through this thing, you might as well just took an extra 20-minute nap or something. If that would have gave you more energy to hop up and get into the thing. So when you look at your life, your schedule, your to-do list, those tasks that you're doing, where is it that you find yourself dragging and or being drained when it comes to doing and or your ability to get something done in a specific time or a specific time frame? What is that and where is that? Those energy leaks, those places where your energy is being depleted, is what we need to fix. Because if we can fix those areas and not be drained by those areas, but instead have the ability to focus in those areas and to work in a way that is much more conducive to getting things done in those areas, you'll be in a better place. Because if you can identify these energy leaks, these places, times, and areas where you are being drained by your time, your energy, your capacity, and all of that, then you can prioritize, you can plan, and ultimately you can protect your peace. Because these energy links in these places where you're depleting yourself isn't prioritizing you, in the sense that because you're being drained, depleted, sucked dry, that doesn't feel good, does it? But if we can plan around the times where we have the most focus and the most energy, we can prioritize the tasks that we're doing during that time. As a result, you're going to protect your peace and your energy. Circle back to the example that I talked about, how being a morning person, it normally takes me 45 minutes to an hour to get through my morning routine. But then there are times where, like today, I woke up early, and because I wasn't fully on a time crunch, so I was taking my time going through my morning routine, and I ended up on my phone scrolling, listening to podcasts, but didn't actually do my reading and stuff. And then eventually, did I do my... Look, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I did my fun... No, because the book is right here beside me, so I brought it in here. I didn't do my fun reading for the day. And... But I was scrolling on my phone for 20, 30 minutes. And so, when you have a plan that helps you to... when you take time to prioritize and identify what is the priority, what is the non-negotiable, and all of that, then you create a plan that allows you to understand and stick with those priorities, and you're doing it in a way and in a time in which you have the capacity and the energy to let it flow. You're prioritizing not only your peace, but the way in which you're using your time. And you know what that's going to do? It's going to feel good. Because you're working in a way, in a system that supports you. So that's what I mean by productivity that feels good. The ability to do and get things done in a way that works for you. And so we talked about grinding less, hustling less. What does it look like to replace this grind mode and this hustle mentality with habits, routines, systems that fuel you and that help you to function in a way that helps you to show up? I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Consistency beats intensity every single time. Hustling and grinding are short-term staples. Prayerfully, they should be. Those are they're the exception and not the rule. And so if we have these constant, consistent, because for some of y'all, every other week you hustling, every other week you grinding, and for some of y'all, you just been hustling and grinding all the time. But on what? I've been hearing, I'm going to do this, and this is such a priority, but you haven't done it. Now, I get it. I'm guilty of saying, I'm going to do this, and I haven't done it as well in areas. But you also don't see me hustling and grinding to get them done, and they're still not done. But yet, you're hustling and grinding to get this thing done that you've been saying you're going to get done again, and still it's not done. So you're consistently hustling, you're consistently grinding. But what do you have to show for it? I'm just asking. And so if you look at and you think about, okay, what can I do? What do I need to do? How can I do this in a way that's going to be much more conducive and much more helpful to me? What would that look like? What does it look like for you to work smarter instead of working harder? What does it look like for you to flow more instead of hustling and grinding more? What does it look like for you to protect your peace, protect your energy, have habits, routines, and systems that help you to show up in a way that's going to help you? What would it look like for you to reset your life, so to speak, in a way that helps you to make doing things and getting things done feel good? What does it look like for you to have a productive system and routine that helps you to maintain your energy across time? We're going into the holiday season. And with the holiday season, often I don't want to bring chaos or speak chaos into your life. There's often more on your schedule, more on your to-do list, more that you need to deal with and focus on. But how? Where? Like, where is it supposed to fit in the midst of my current responsibilities? And so, if you don't want to fall into this trap this holiday season, going into the new year just because it's Monday, into this hustle trap, we have to make sure that you are setting yourself up and setting your life up into a way that grinding and hustling aren't your norm. They're the exception rather than the rule. And prayerfully, we can get them to be such an exception that you are like, I don't know when the last time I hustled or grinded. You can name the last time you worked hard, but it's not the same. You having a goal and you having a deadline and you having a plan to get there is one thing. But because of this goal, this plan, and this deadline to get there, that should put the thing up on the totem pole of being a priority, which means your time, your energy, your focus, and your capacity should be going to it in such a way that that is your priority. So even when we still look at productivity, you're knocking down bits and pieces of the thing to get it to where you need to be, to do the thing you need to do. Grind mode, I don't want that for you as your norm. If you want that for you as your norm, I'm not the coach for you. I'm not the person for you. I'm here to help you to find hidden time in your day, to simplify your life, your stress, your time management, to do it in a way that you're finding this time that you have in your day that you don't know about, that you aren't using, that you aren't prioritizing in such a way. What does that mean? What does that look like? How are you going about doing it, and what are you doing with it? Put that to use. Meditate on that. Sleep on that. Grind less, flow more. It's time to identify and utilize your energy in a way that keeps you from falling into the spiral of hustling and grinding this holiday season into the new year, and again, just because it's Monday or any other day of the week. And so, what would it mean for you to have productivity, accomplishments, to-do lists that feels good? What if you understood where you have the best energy and the least energy, and you were able to utilize that in such a way that you were able to prioritize, to plan, and to do so in a way that protects your peace so that your productivity feels good, so that your ability to do and get things done feels good, so that you show up and you show out in a way that feels good. Feels good from head to toe, meaning you got it done, you had the energy, you were rested, you weren't stressed, you weren't overworked, you weren't hustling, you weren't grinding, you weren't trying to sleep when you dead or driving yourself to an early grave or to a hospital. What if you replace hustle with habits, routines, and systems that work for you? What if you were able to show up consistently instead of intensely, but only for a short amount of time? What if you were able to consistently show up instead of only sporadically come in on two wheels, smoke flying behind you and all of that? What if? Hey Fiona, I'm good. How are you? What if? What does that look like to you? If you're ready to have, create, maintain that for your life, if you're ready to have systems and habits that surround productivity, that help you to flow through life, through the various seasons of life in a conducive manner, let's have a conversation. Let's talk. Let's look at a productivity system that not only feels good, but is good for you, your nervous system, your emotional regulation, for all parts of you, including the results that you get as a result of it. And as you create this plan to work smarter, not harder, I'm Coach Lee, your productivity and accountability coach. And I'm here to support you in that journey. I'm here to help you in that journey. If you're ready to reset in a way that is simple, simplistic, but sticks, comment reset, head to the link in bio, book your own personalized productivity audit, and let's create that game plan, that reality for you to have that, and not just have that, but for you to do that in your life. So if you in for that, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it. Let's create that game plan, create that system, and to do that for you in your life. And so it's been Coach Lee, your productivity and accountability coach, here for another Sunday in the Success Starter series. We dove in today and we talked about grind less, flow more, productivity that feels good. And we looked at, where are your energy leaks? We examined what it would look like to prioritize and to plan and to ultimately protect your peace. And we talked about that execution, that game plan for being able to replace hustle with habits, systems, and routines that help you to show up consistently each and every time. So if you want that for you in your life, comment reset. Let's have a conversation. Let's figure out what it would look like to have that in your life. So until next time, it's been Coach Lee, your productivity and accountability coach. Coach Lee is